KONDOSAN.
Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a beautiful queen and a handsome king. The queen was not only beautiful, but she was kind and generous. Her people loved her dearly. She always helped people and wanted her country to always be in abundance. The queen always longed to have a daughter. One day, as she sat embroidering by the window, she daydreamed of her future daughter. In a daze, she accidentally pricked her finger with her embroidery needle. The blood from her finger dripped onto the white fabric she was embroidering. At that very moment, a shooting star crossed the sky. The queen made a wish.
Dear God, please send me a daughter. Let her be so beautiful that everyone admires her. Let her have pink cheeks, black hair like mine, her lips as red as this drop of blood, her eyes as bright as diamonds, and her skin as white as this very cloth. She should always smell like the flowers in my garden. Let her teeth be as white as the pearls on my neck.
A short time after that, her wish came true, and she shared the good news with the king and announced that they were expecting a baby.
My queen, wish what you will from me. I'll get you the most wonderful gift.
My health is not as good as it used to be. What I ask of you is to protect our child from all evil. Please promise me that you'll protect her. There's nothing more I wish for.
When the time came, the queen gave birth to a very beautiful girl. Just as she had wished for, her daughter had black hair, red lips, bright eyes, skin as white as snow, and smelled like flowers. They named her Snow White because of the whiteness of her skin. Soon after, the queen's health deteriorated and she passed away. The young king was very sad. While he mourned his beloved wife, he also tried to raise Snow White as best he could. When Snow White turned 5, a big ball was organised at the palace. The king was celebrating his daughter's birthday and also choosing a new queen. At the ball, there was a beautiful woman who had magical powers. She used these powers to dance with the king and cast a spell on him and married the king and became the queen. Snow White's stepmother was a very beautiful woman, but she was also vain, cruel, and evil. From the day she arrived at the palace, she despised Snow White. She saw her as her rival. The queen also had a magic mirror. She always consulted the mirror about the future and would ask,
"Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?"
My dear queen, it's you. You're the most beautiful woman in the world.
And so, time passed by. Snow White became a very beautiful young girl. Those who saw her could not look away. As she strolled in the palace gardens, the wind that brushed her hair would spread her flowery scent. Birds and butterflies would always follow her around. And her voice was so heavenly that when she sang, birds in the gardens would go silent and listen to her. One day, the queen asked her mirror,
"Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?"
My queen, you are very beautiful, but the most beautiful girl is Snow White.
The jealous and cruel queen got so angry that she hurled the bottle in her hand at the magical mirror.
How is that possible? No one's more beautiful than me. Summon the princess at once.
Meanwhile, she had locked up the king in the palace dungeon and told everyone that he was away working for his people. She also summoned the palace hunter and gave him strict orders.
I want you to kill Snow White and bring her heart to me as proof.
Snow White, who had no idea of her fate, came to see the evil queen.
Dear Snow White, you haven't been out for days. You must be bored inside the castle. I'd like you to bring me some strawberries from the forest. This way you'll be able to get some fresh air. You'll have a good time, don't worry. I'll send you my trustworthy hunter with you.
As the princess picked strawberries with the hunter, they got deep into the forest. The poor hunter was very sad.
How can I harm someone with such a good heart and such beauty? There must be another way.
The hunter couldn't bring himself to kill her. They sat under a tree and he told her about the queen's evil plan.
My princess, please go far away. If the queen finds out what I've done, she will kill both of us.
He immediately hunted an animal and brought its heart to the queen.
Aha!
The princess spent the night under that tree. She was so scared. At dawn, she went on her journey. After a long walk, she reached a small house and went inside. She looked around in amazement.
What is this place? Everything is so small and there's 7 of everything. 7 small chairs, 7 pairs of forks and spoons.
Since she was so hungry, she made soup with the ingredients she found in the house. She ate and went upstairs. And then she fell asleep in one of the small beds. At night, the house owners returning from the mine were actually the 7 dwarfs. Their names were Doc, Dopey, Happy, Grumpy, Sneezy, Bashful, and Sleepy.
Hey, what's this? It smells like delicious soup.
It's like someone entered the house.
Come, look, there's a girl sleeping here.
The commotion woke up Snow White. She was scared when she first saw them. She then told them everything that happened to her.
My name is Snow White. I don't mean any harm. I don't have a place to go. That's why I took shelter here. Please, let me stay.
Of course, Princess. We are not going to let you stay alone in the forest. Don't worry.
You are our first guest who makes such delicious soup.
Time passed by. Days and weeks. Snow White and the 7 dwarfs were laughing, having fun together, and living a peaceful life. Meanwhile, the evil queen, not knowing that Snow White was still alive, asked the mirror again.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
My queen, you're beautiful, but Snow White, who lives with the 7 dwarfs, is more beautiful.
How's this possible? The hunter must have lied to me. First, I will get rid of Snow White, and then I will teach the hunter a lesson.
She immediately worked on an evil plan. She poisoned an apple and disguised herself as an old woman to trick Snow White.
Hello? Anybody home? I'm so hungry and I ran out of food.
The 7 dwarfs had warned Snow White to not open the door to anyone. But Snow White felt sorry for the old woman that came to her door, and so let her in without a doubt.
Please come in. Welcome.
Thanks, my child. I got so tired and hungry in the forest. Do you have something to eat?
Yes, of course. I have some soup.
After finishing her soup, the evil queen, disguised as the old woman, offered the poisoned apple to Snow White. The princess took a bite and fell on the floor, falling asleep. The old woman turned back into the evil queen and happily went back to her palace. When the 7 dwarfs who came back from the mine in the evening saw her laying on the floor, they thought that she had died and so were very sad.
We should make her eternal sleep comfortable. Let's make a nice bed for her.
A handsome prince who was walking through the forest heard the 7 dwarfs crying. He got curious and approached them.
Oh my, what's going on here?
He was very surprised when he looked to see who was laying in the crystal bed surrounded by flowers. She was the girl who had been in his dreams for days. The smell of her hair was still all over the forest.
Who is this beautiful girl?
Her name is Snow White. We haven't been able to wake her up.
They told the prince everything that had happened. The prince lifted the crystal cover to give a farewell kiss to the girl of his dreams. He kissed her on the cheek. At that moment, something unexpected happened. The spell broke and a miracle occurred. Snow White opened her eyes and got up in bed. The 7 dwarves and the prince were very happy.
You are the girl of my dreams, Snow White. This is the best day of my life. Will you marry me?
First, I need to find my father and tell him about everything that happened, and also get his blessing.
They went back to the palace and got the king out of the dungeon. The evil queen fled in fear. The prince and Snow White got married and lived happily ever after.
Yeah, that's it! Oh, my battery's low. Come on, download the game now and take my place!
Once upon a time, there lived a family who had a daughter named Cinderella. They were a very happy family. However, once their kind-hearted mother suddenly passed away, their happiness came to an end. Cinderella's father married another woman soon after. The woman had 2 spoiled and spiteful daughters. They were just as unkind as their mother. They all came to live in the house. Cinderella now had 2 stepsisters and a stepmother. Everyone loved Cinderella, who was incredibly kind and beautiful. She had long blonde hair, ocean blue-coloured eyes, and delicate feet and hands. She was a girl who enjoyed helping everyone around her, cooked delicious meals, loved plants, and protected animals. Out of jealousy, the stepsisters made sure to make Cinderella's life miserable. They made her do all the housework and used her as the housemaid. Her only friend was a tabby cat. When she finished her chores, she would take her cat on her lap, sit by the fireplace, and tell him about her misfortune. She always told him how much she missed her mother. That's why Cinderella was nicknamed Cindercat. Unfortunately, soon after, her father died too. The stepsisters and stepmother gave Cinderella a room in the attic.
You can't stay on the same floor as us. You're better suited up there.
Please, let me and my cat get warmed up by the fireplace.
Only after we go to bed. The ashes of the fireplace should be enough for you. Your clothes are ripped and torn. We don't want to see you around. Poor Cinderella accepted her fate. Every night she would sit next to the fireplace and try to warm herself with the cinders left in it. One day, a soldier stopped by their home to invite all girls who were of age to marry to a ball at the palace.
Our king is to leave his throne to his son. The only condition is for him to marry a suitable girl. How many girls are there in this house who are of age?
Joyously, the mother presented her own 2 daughters.
I have 2 beautiful girls.
Then who is that girl that I see in the kitchen wiping the floors?
She's a housemaid. How could we bring her to the palace?
It doesn't matter. I must write her name down as well.
Even if you write her name down, it won't matter. She has no clothes or shoes to wear. Go ahead, write it down.
Cinderella begged her stepmother.
Please, give me one of my sister's dresses, so I can come too.
No, you will not go. You will clean the floors until we come back. Do you think the prince will choose you over my daughters, the Cinder Cat?
The 3 of them mocked Cinderella and chased her away. Finally, the day of the ball arrived.
Ooh!
All dressed up, they went to the ball and left Cinderella behind. Cinderella cried hopelessly. Right at that moment, a glowing fairy appeared before Cinderella.
Don't worry, I'll get you to the ball.
Who are you?
I'm the good fairy who helps kind-hearted girls. Your mother has sent me here to help you. She is watching over you from above. Let's get to it. Find me a large pumpkin and 6 mice.
Cinderella did what the fairy asked of her right away. She brought the pumpkin, and the mice in her room, who were already her friends, came running to help. With the wand in her hand, the fairy turned the pumpkin into a fantastic carriage. 4 mice into white horses, 1 mouse into a coachman, and 1 into a footman. Finally, it was Cinderella's turn. The fairy touched her head with her wand and turned her into a wonderful princess.
Remember, don't stay past midnight. The spell will break after 12 o'clock. You must leave the ball before 12. Good luck!
Cinderella got in the carriage and went straight to the palace. As soon as she entered the ballroom, everyone stared at her and held their breath. They were curious to learn who she was. She must be a princess from another country. They asked themselves who else would arrive in such a magnificent carriage and wear exquisite jewels. The prince, who saw Cinderella, came up to her immediately.
My lady, will you dance with me?
With pleasure, His Royal Highness.
It was love at first sight. The prince danced with Cinderella all night. The king and queen also really liked Cinderella. This girl would suit us and our palace as well. She's noble and beautiful. We have found our bride. All the other girls at the ball, including the stepmother and stepsisters, were huffing and puffing with jealousy.
Where do you come from? Where do you live? What's your name?
Time passed by really quickly. Cinderella, who saw that it was almost 12 o'clock, left the prince unexpectedly and ran out of the palace. As she hurried down the palace stairs, she lost one of her glass shoes. But because she was in such a hurry, she left it behind, got in the carriage, and went home. At exactly midnight, everything turned into what it was before. The prince who had run after Cinderella was in complete shock. He hadn't been able to catch up to her, but he found her glass shoe on the stairs. When Cinderella came home, she was surprised at what she saw. The house was sparkling clean. There was even a hot soup brewing on the stove. The fairy had sorted this out too. When Cinderella went to her room, she was very sad.
But what now? I'll never be able to see the prince again.
Don't worry. Everything will be okay.
Meanwhile, the prince thought only about the beautiful girl who had run away from the ball.
I must find her. I will take no other as my queen. Tomorrow we will try this shoe on every girl's foot that attended the ball last night and across the city. If the shoe fits someone, then that girl will be my queen.
The next day, soldiers walked door to door and asked all the girls who had attended the ball to try on the glass shoe. Everyone wore the shoe with excitement, but it didn't fit anyone. Finally, it was time for Cinderella's home. Everyone was incredibly excited. The stepsisters spent hours massaging and creaming their feet in order to shorten them. And they locked Cinderella in the attic. Yet, the shoe didn't fit either of the sisters' feet.
Come on.
Just as the soldiers were about to leave, they heard a sound from upstairs. Cinderella had managed to catch their attention by knocking down a cupboard.
What's that sound? Who's upstairs?
The house cat. There's no one.
No cat can make such a noise. Don't lie. Let's go upstairs and have a look.
Immediately.
Huh?
They got Cinderella out of the locked room and asked her to try on the glass shoe.
Oh.
The shoe fit perfectly. Cinderella showed them the other pair. The soldiers knew that they had found the princess and ran to the palace to deliver the good news. The prince joyously arrived at Cinderella's house and recognized her right away.
Will you marry me and be my princess?
Having received the answer as yes, he took her to the palace. Cinderella told him about everything that had happened to her.
Everything was fine.
They got married with a wedding lasting 40 days and 40 nights. The first thing Cinderella did was to have her tabby cat brought to the palace. They lived happily ever after, and the good fairy looked over them at all times. Once upon a time, there lived a rich merchant. He was so rich that he didn't even know how much money he had. This merchant had 3 daughters. 2 of them were selfish, lazy, and unkind, but the third one was incredibly polite, generous, and loving. With her flowing brown hair and big green eyes, she was both beautiful and of good character, so her father simply called her Beauty. Beauty never wanted to upset her father. Her sisters, on the other hand, only thought of money, dresses, and jewels. This is why their father loved Beauty the most. One evening, Beauty dreamed of a tall, handsome, dark-haired prince. In her dream, she was wearing a marvelous dress while dancing with the prince. At the end of their dance, the prince gifted her a rose. When she woke up, she was still smiling and dancing with the effect of her dream. Her sisters watched in shock, filled with jealousy. Days went by, and one day, Beauty's father received terrible news. A powerful storm had destroyed all of the merchant's ships. They had all sunk and he had lost all his wealth.
We've lost everything, girls. The only thing we have left is this house. I'm very sorry.
Don't be sad, Father. Nothing really matters as long as we're all together. I'm going to pray every day for you to smile again and for your luck to turn. I hope that sometime soon we will be rich again.
Not long after, they received good news that one of their ships hadn't sunk. Upon hearing this news, their father with joy headed to the port.
We're probably safe now. We're rich again. After I sell all the merchandise, what would you like me to bring you?
Beautiful dresses and shoes.
Precious jewels.
My dear father, just come back to us safe and sound. I don't want anything. But if you can bring me a red rose, I'll be very happy.
The merchant bid his girls farewell and went to the port. But when he arrived, he couldn't believe his eyes. The ship was destroyed and all the merchandise had fallen into the sea and was lost. So, nothing had changed. They were still poor. Sadly, on his way back home, without realizing, he entered the forest. For some time he tried to find the road, but at this point, he and his horse were both very tired. Suddenly, he spotted a light in the distance. It was getting dark, so he hurried and headed towards the light. A magnificent palace appeared before him. It was a palace with lights all around it and a huge garden. The palace had a mysterious feel. When the merchant arrived at the garden gates, they opened spontaneously. Going through a path with lots of trees, he reached the door of the palace, which also opened spontaneously. Though the merchant didn't understand what was going on, he went inside.
Good evening. Is anyone here?
He walked past the huge living room and other rooms, asking if anyone was home. He suddenly found himself before a table full of different types of food, desserts, and fruits. Since he was very hungry, he sat down and ate until he was full. Wandering in awe around the alluring rooms of the palace, he looked for a place to sleep. He found a beautiful bedroom on the top floor.
Well, there's nothing to do now. When the owners of the palace arrive, I'll thank them for everything.
He lay down on the bed and fell asleep. The next day, when he went downstairs, this time, he saw that a beautiful large breakfast table had been set for him.
I think that luck has found me again. There's even fresh juice. But I have to go now. Even if I didn't get to meet you, thank you very much. Goodbye.
He went out to the garden, and just as he approached the gates, he saw a beautiful red rose.
I'll take this rose for my daughter as a souvenir. Beauty will love it.
He picked the rose. At the same time, he heard a noise behind him. When he turned around, there was a monster. It was a scary monster, black hairy hands, huge mouth and eyes, and sharp teeth.
I did everything to make you stay comfortable. Aren't you ashamed of picking the flower without permission?
I'm sorry, sir. My intentions weren't bad. I have 3 girls. One of them asked me to bring back a rose for her. I picked it for my daughter. Please forgive me.
So you have 3 daughters then?
Yes, sir.
Well, I will only forgive you on one condition. One of your daughters must come and stay with me willingly. If no one comes, I will punish you very badly. Here, I'm giving you my fastest horse. I expect both of you within a week. If not, you will pay the price for your insolence.
The merchant, wanting so desperately to stay alive, climbed on the horse and went straight home. He explained to his daughters everything that had happened.
Which one of you will come with me there?
I can't live with the monster. Beauty is the one to be blamed. She should go.
Yes, it's her fault that Dad encountered this monster. She should go.
Okay. Father, don't be upset. I will go willingly, and I will save you.
My beautiful girl. You're going because of me. I'm so sorry.
Don't be sad, Father. Everything will be fine.
When they arrived at the palace, everything was the same as before. A fire was burning in the fireplace, the table was full of food, and bright lights were lit everywhere. Since they were both hungry from the long journey, they sat at the table and had dinner. Not long after that, the monster headed downstairs.
Good evening, and welcome. My name is Beast. Will you stay here with me?
Yes, sir. I wanted that rose. It's not my father's fault. He only wanted to bring me a gift.
Then your father will leave tomorrow, and you will stay here and be my friend.
The next day, Beauty's father left.
I'll miss you very much. Forgive me, my dear.
I'll miss you too. Please don't worry. Just take care of yourself.
Waving, she bid her father farewell from the garden gates. Days went by, but she was incredibly sad. She cried every day. One night as she was crying, "What will I do with the beast? How will I get used to this?" he appeared before her.
Good evening. How are you? Is your room comfortable? Do you need anything? Your wish is my command. But you coming here at your own will has made me incredibly happy. If only you liked me a little. Is it because I'm ugly?
Beauty always told him the truth.
I don't like you, but I've gotten used to you.
Just wait and see. One day I'll make you like me. You won't see the ugliness of my face, but you'll see the kindness of my heart. That's what's important.
They were actually becoming quite good friends. They played piano together and sang songs. They wandered around the garden and fed the birds. Beauty realized that Beast wasn't as ugly as she thought he was. In fact, she had started to like him. One night, she dreamed of her father and saw he had become really ill. The next morning,
Good morning. Last night I saw my father in my dream. He was very ill. Please let me go and visit my father for a week. I've missed him so much. Will you let me?
Okay then. Exactly 1 week. If you go over 1 week and not come back, I will die here. Don't forget that.
I promise. I'll see him and come right back.
Then let's put this magical heart-shaped medallion on your neck.
If you make a wish while holding it tightly, it will come true.
they parted in this way.
I want to go to my father.
She arrived at her father's house. Her father was so pleased to see her that he started feeling better almost immediately.
I missed you so much, Beauty.
I miss you too, Father.
Her sisters didn't understand what just happened and how she just suddenly arrived. They were still jealous of Beauty. Beauty told her father everything. That she was now happy and that he shouldn't be sad anymore. She stayed a week at her father's house without realizing how time passed by. One day, she saw Beast in her dream lying on the floor. Thinking that he had died, she became incredibly frightened. It dawned on her that she was late by 1 day. She felt guilty because she hadn't kept her promise.
He told me that if I stayed over a week that he would die. What selfishness this is! If something happened to him because of me, I will never be able to forgive myself.
She immediately bid her father and sisters farewell, took the medallion in her hand, holding it tightly, kissed it and made her wish. She found herself in Beast's palace. Beast was on the floor with his eyes closed. Helpless, Beauty had no idea what to do.
I shouldn't have left you alone. Please forgive me.
Beauty, thinking that she had lost Beast, kept on crying. Suddenly, Beast opened his eyes.
I finally realized how much I love you.
Can you really love someone as ugly as me?
Of course. I will never part with you again.
Then will you marry me?
Yes, yes.
Suddenly, with a blinding light, Beast's face started to change. A handsome prince took his place. He was tall with thick dark hair.
Oh, you're the prince that I was dancing with in my dream.
Yes, an evil witch turned me into the beast. The only way for the spell to be broken was if a girl accepted my hand in marriage despite my ugliness. Thank you for saving me, Beauty.
Not long after that, the prince and Beauty got married. They brought her merchant father and her sisters to the palace as well. They lived happily ever after. This was a victory of inner beauty.
Hey, guys, help! The wolf trapped us in balloons. Press here, then here on your phone or tablet. Download our game and rescue us. We are waiting for you!
Hey guys! Subscribe to our channel KONDOSAN and watch the most popular fairy tales, cartoons, and nursery rhymes. Don't forget to click the bell for notifications.